This video blog is being brought to you by David Allen & Associates. At David Allen & Associates, we want you to know how the law works and why. My name's David Allen. We've all seen the pictures, we've all heard the news. Same-sex marriages are now legal in California. How did this come to pass? Well, in May, as many of us have heard, the California Supreme Court made a relatively historic decision, and a very narrow decision of 4 justices to 3 justices decided that gay marriage, same-sex marriages, were lawful and they were protected under the California Constitution. Why? Because sexual orientation essentially became a protected class. What does that mean? That means that we have to deal with all people equally due to equal protection under the law, and that same-sex marriages are now lawful. It's people who have a sexual orientation, one to the other, have the same rights as do heterosexual couples and have the right to marry in California. Well, where is that going to take us and what's going to happen? I mean, hey, here we have Kevin and Ken. Now, Kevin and Ken, you guys have been together for some period of time. It's been 5 years now, been thinking about marriage. You think you're going to go forward now that you have that opportunity here in California? Ooh, a little bit of hesitation there, huh? Well, I know entering into marriage is a major step, but you might not have a whole lot of time to think about this because, well, we've got Jane over here, and Jane, with her somewhat conservative gun-toting ways, is suggesting that we need to have a ban on gay marriages in California and that there needs to be a constitutional amendment. And she hopes that come November, marriage will be defined in California as a union only between a man and a woman. And Jane, I know you're pretty serious about that, but the way you're holding that gun, I think you're pushing these guys into a shotgun wedding. Why is that? Yeah, I know, Kevin. I know, Ken. You guys feel that if you get married now and the Constitution redefines marriage, then maybe at least you'll have a shot at keeping your marriage together. Is that really what's going to happen? We don't know. And why don't we know? Because we don't know exactly how that constitutional amendment will work and whether or not it will be viewed that marriage is such an intrinsic right that you cannot prevent it from happening under even a change in a state constitution. What about the whiskey? Jane, I know you'd bring that up. What about the whiskey? Well, I'll tell you about the whiskey. Yes, we did have prohibition in this country, but that was a whole different ballgame. Why? Nobody had an intrinsic right to drink alcohol. That was a discretionary right that was always open to licensing by governmental bodies. And Congress, back there in 1918, said that in order to protect the food supplies during the war was already over, but that's when this all arose, that it was necessary to regulate food and alcohol, and they brought an end to all alcohol consumption. That isn't the same as marriage, because marriage, like childbearing, is, in fact, an intrinsic constitutional right. So will we see an end to same-sex marriages if the Constitution in California is amended? Not necessarily. Where might this go? This might wind up before the United States Supreme Court, and in that instance, it's thought that the United States Supreme Court may well find, just as the California Supreme Court found, that same-sex marriages are lawful and are protected under the Equal Protection Clause of the United States Constitution. Is that where it's going to go? Well, we shall find out. Jane, you may or may not be right on this thing. Kevin, Ken, wish you guys the very best. This is David Allen here on this video blog, and I know you've got some questions about this, and you will have some questions about it. When you exit from this blog, you'll be able to see a link to one side that will allow you to ask questions. We invite your questions because in future video blogs, we will deal with those. As a matter of fact, we're posting these every week, and next week we can deal with your questions, your concerns, so feel free to write in and let us know your thoughts and what you would like to hear. We'll be talking to you then. I'm David Allen.